everything was taken away from me. It was so fast.
So life has been great up until 2024, which is where things changed a lot, and that's when I lost one of my legs.
So this whole right side is different, but this is what people see, and this is what you get judged on.
Silence, being alone and silence was almost very haunting for me because I was in excruciating pain.
And they'd start crying right away or start praying. That happened so many times. And like, it would make me very mad because, you know, I felt like, hey, I had a whole life to start living and everything, and they're like trying to bury me already.
Hi, my name is Angie. I was born in Montreal a long time ago, and I was born with what I believe is a condition called Poland syndrome.
Hi everyone, my name is Yaz. That's actually my nickname. My name is Jasmina or Yasmin. I am a right below the knee amputee since 2024, June.
My name is Paolo. I'm a right below knee amputee. I lost it on, I got the date here on my forearm, June 21st, 2018.
I'm Patricia Raulino, and I live in Toronto, and I'm an amputee.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I live in Toronto, or a little bit north of Toronto, called Barrie. I have a family up there, a beautiful wife, and two boys.
So my life was completely different from the way it is right now before my amputation. I was working full-time, long hours because I was in retail management, long hours standing, walking, moving around all the time, and I drove and I was very independent.
I was a sport junkie, workaholic, doing everything I can to support my family.
Everything was going great. I was married, I had kids, we had lots of fun, we were swimming, we were biking, we were on the beach, we were traveling around the world, we were doing all kinds of things.
I never felt different. The only thing that made me feel different was that I grew up at a time when girls didn't do that. Girls didn't play sports. Girls didn't participate in things that I loved, hockey, football, baseball. When I grew up, we were playing with toys that taught us how to clean house.
I really knew that there wasn't a choice when I lost my first leg because it was so badly infected that I knew that the toes where the foot was infected, I knew something was going to happen.
I was just really scared of pain because I had gone through so much pain that, like for a while, for months and stuff, that I just couldn't stand another idea of more pain.
So when it came to surgery, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. It either had to get amputated or die, and that's how close it was. And I did flatline once during it, but it came back.
My biggest fear going into surgery, that I wouldn't wake up. They said I had 10 to 12 hours left to live. The gangrene was going right for my heart. Just when they were about to start it, they took the bone saw out, and I woke up and I saw that bone saw. Yeah, and I did need help after that. I had nightmares. When I went to bed at night, I'd write on my other leg, "Don't touch my leg," for the doctors not to take the other one.
My heart was racing, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't think I can do this. I couldn't breathe properly and whatnot. And a nurse came up that was going to be in the surgery room. She came along and held my hand and said, everything's going to be okay.
Back in 2018, we were at my brother-in-law's place in Guelph, celebrating my baby girl, who's an opera singer from Montreal, and was signing her first contract with the Montreal Opera Company, and I was freezing. It was 90 degrees outside, and I was cold. And I was, at that point, healing a small wound on the bottom of my foot. And so the next morning I had an appointment with my doctor before going to work. He did a culture, and by the time I got to the office to work, he called me and says, "Get yourself to the hospital immediately." I was attacked with flesh-eating disease, and it was like 3 days, lose the leg or die. and that's how it happened so fast.
When this first happened to me, my left leg was injured 5 years prior to that. I had stepped on something. I had what they call neuropathy. Neuropathy is very common with diabetics. You don't feel your limbs, and so when you walk around, you don't feel things that you step on. And I must have stepped on a screw or a piece of glass and not noticed it, and over time it became a very big wound and I didn't even feel it. I was told that I was going to lose my leg. I was shocked. They showed me my foot and my toes had all turned black. I argued with them and said, why don't you just take my toes?
I lost my leg due to vascular issues, so my foot was getting really destroyed by the moment. I had wound care nurses come, but at night, let's say if my bandage, like my wrapping moved, I had to fix it myself. And it was really scary to have to do it all by myself.
I had this big wound, and you could see right through it in my leg, and it was smelling really bad. And I never looked at it. I just pretended it didn't exist because I had brain fever. I had undiagnosed diabetes and it affected my brain. And I had turned my oven on to 450 degrees and I tried to crawl into my oven to get warm, and my husband pulled me out and called the ambulance. When I got to the hospital, they thought I had flesh-eating disease, and they gave me the last rites by the priest, but then they almost finished and they rushed me into surgery. I had 3 surgeries, and after that I had no more pain. My sugars returned to normal, pretty normal, and I started having a clear head. It's like cutting my leg off started my whole life up again.
Poland syndrome is when part of your upper body doesn't develop, so it's underdeveloped. What you see with me, it's more than just the arm. So the whole right side is smaller, the right eye drifts, the right knee's crooked, the hips are off, I've got a little bit of scoliosis in the back, and because I've got to do it all, the right breast never developed.
I remember just feeling a sense of relief.
I didn't want to look at my leg for the longest time. It was just too much for me at the time.
Kind of relief when I saw my husband, and he told me I looked good, because at first I go, do I look ugly? That's the first thing I asked him.
So then I woke up and then everything was a total shock.
After the first surgery, however the anesthetic started wearing off or anything, I actually started talking. I remember I opened my eyes and I saw all of the people that were, all of the surgeons around me, and I was just laughing and I said, oh, is it gonna be over soon? And they're like, you're done. And I was like, oh, wow, that's great. And I was so excited. I was giggling and laughing and talking to everyone while I was in recovery.
I kind of got depressed at that time. Not horribly, like I was still trying to stay positive because my wife and my family were all positive, and so I tried to stay that way myself. But you do get into this dark cloud sometimes.
I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about recovery after limb loss. I think a lot of people just think, okay, you have a prosthetic leg now, just put it on. You could go back to you can work now, you could do all these different things. It's not as easy as just putting on a boot or a shoe. It doesn't fit like that. Like, the limb actually changes shape throughout the day, and it changes shape throughout time.
But back then it was like I would have taken my hand, I would have inserted it into a socket. There was a band that went around under the left arm, and it was like a hook, and you'd push it and the hook would open, the hook would close. That's all it would do, right? But it was thought, this might be a good idea, it might make things easier for you. I hated the thing, like I hated it.
I went through the whole journey at rehab. I got up and walking on a prosthetic. In no time, I was pretty proud of myself that I was able to push and just get up on a leg and walk. So what I wish that recovery would do a better job at is to have support more available and accessible to people that are coming out of there. Someone that just comes along and just talks to you, like another amputee that can tell you what life's gonna be like. You just don't know what's gonna happen next.
While I was at the rehab recovering, I had different emotions. I think the most The most emotion I had was, I don't know why, I just felt so thankful because I didn't feel alone even at the rehab. I remember just feeling, you know what, every little step forward I was taking, okay, my wound is healing.
One of the things that I found difficult in recovery is not having the support. So you leave the hospital, nobody tells you really what's going to happen next. You try to heal for a little bit and then they send you off to recovery or rehab. And in the rehab hospital, you kind of like, you know, you're left to your own thoughts. And so it's easy to get very depressed and very, you know, going down that dark hole.
My mental health was very, very rough at the time because today mental health is big, right? I pushed myself. Who pushed me? When I finally realized it was all because of that one senior nurse, right? She made me think straight. So I walked in 3 weeks.
Before you knew it, we had 20 people that were meeting almost every day after we worked out, all becoming friends and connected. We make lots of jokes about ourselves. That helps us, you know, mentally, believe me.
I mean, if I have a bad day or something, I mean, I'll just, you know, so hey, this is how we're going to figure this out. The only other thing that might bug me is even my friends sometimes. They'll say, well, you know, it's okay. You do this. And it's amazing what you do with one arm. To which I'll say, yeah, I think I see two, right? So, but this shows you the perception, right? Or the only other thing that I think will drive me nuts, I ride a motorcycle. And everything's on one side, right? Everything's on one side, throttle and all that. And sometimes people will say, well, why don't you ride a Spider because it's got 3 wheels and it'll be easier for you. And I appreciate that because people are concerned, they want you to be safe and everything else, but me, it's like because I want to lean. Not that there's anything wrong with Spiders, but again, you're assuming that because you don't understand how I do something, that it's not possible to do it.
I went home, but then you know you go back to your room or something and you're there for a couple hours by yourself and your wheels start spinning and you start thinking and you end up going to this deep, deep, dark place sometimes. The hardest part when I got home was trying to climb the stairs up to my front door. Found is I'd have to go up on my bum and just kind of jump from stair to stair until I got to the top. But it wasn't over then. I walked in the house and the next obstacle that I found was sitting down in the couch. And you cannot get up because you don't have the leverage in your legs anymore to kind of lean forward and get up.
So excited, but also scared at the same time, which I think a lot of people felt the same way because it was the unknown. Some of the really simple things that I used to just do without thinking was making my breakfast. When I was able to, I felt well enough to go downstairs in the morning, like before I ate anything, then I would go downstairs, feed my cat and that kind of thing. But even that, I have to be really prepared.
Toughest task was to adjust moving around in a condo, not a home, a condo. And back then, you know, I was a lot bigger than I am now, and going around with a wheelchair destroyed all the trimming on the floor. So I had to learn and adapt, and I took one of my walkers and I changed it into a wheelchair. Now you can get a walker as like a wheelchair, move around easier, but I took one of my walkers, put a belt around it, made my own wheelchair to zoom around a condo better, right?
Nighttime going to the bathroom. Couldn't wait to go home. I wanted to see my dog and the rest of my family and everything. But my house wasn't accessible like rehab. It didn't have all the amenities. So I kind of knew like there's going to be obstacles, which there totally was. And yeah, it's scary. It's scary going home. It's wonderful and scary, but you're not in that safety of the rehab.
I love Halloween, so I will always dress up in Halloween and visit the hospitals, and especially with the kids. And they go, Batman's got a bad leg. Yeah, don't worry, I'll be back, you know? But it's stuff like that. Yeah, just people out there just don't know what to be in our shoes unless it happens to them. You know what I mean? Then you realize it, right? It's like a car accident. You don't know what's going to happen after you get hit, right? You have to pick up the pieces like a puzzle and try to put it together.
I always felt like I had to prove myself. So it's not just because you're a girl, it's because you're judged right away based on how you look. I'll give you an example of how this continues through your adult life. So when I was trying to get my first job, and my parents were so happy because Ange was looking for a job, and it was going to be at a coffee kiosk. I met with the owner's wife the night before, because when I applied for jobs, you'd prepare a resume and you would mail them hoping that you'd get a phone call, right? There's no social media back then. So got the phone call, got the interview, met the owner's wife. We had a really nice conversation. She said, you know what? Come in tomorrow, my husband will be here and we'll get you started. Great. Show up the next day. Now my parents were really excited because I didn't even make coffee at home, right? So here I am, I'm gonna get paid great. I'm gonna make coffee and be a barista. So I show up and meet the owner, and as soon as he puts his hand out, and of course he's using his right hand, I'm putting my left out and I get the look. Now you get to learn that look. Right? And I could tell right away, this isn't going to work out. And it's not because of me. It's because he's already judged me. And so I'm standing there and I'm saying, okay, what can I do to help? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to boil water? Is there anything you want me to clean? What do you want me to do? Stand here. He went over to a payphone, because there were no cell phones back then, and it was just a couple of feet away, and I could hear him. And he picked up the phone, and all I hear is, why did you hire her? She shouldn't be in public. Right? So I never cried. I was a very determined, strong, proud person. But this was too much.
Because a lady told me that I was just going to be a waste of space now that I didn't have a leg, that I'd probably go on welfare and I'd never do anything in my life. It was, somebody just walked by my hospital room and said that I'd be a waste of space. And I remember throwing a pillow at her, and I was yelling at her, and I go, I'm going to feel better now. I feel like myself. I was throwing pillows at the lady, because I felt good and I'm not going to be a waste of space.
Music is a different language, and I used it to demonstrate what's possible. But then I decided I wanted to play guitar, because I remember I loved Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, and I wanted to play guitar. So I started to play guitar, and I got a little prosthetic, and I would play. And I just took that to another level and started forming bands, because again, using a prosthetic. So people wouldn't see that. They wouldn't. It's amazing what people see and what they don't see. So people wouldn't see it when I'd be running around and playing. But then, I would always say during a performance, I'd say, maybe you didn't see this, and I'd have the prosthetic on and say, I hope that I'm showing you what's possible. So please, if you do anything when you leave our show, don't judge people by how they look.
I think what surprised me the most about life after limb loss was what a large community there is out there. I had never met another amputee in my entire life.
I talk to a lot of people that are amputees now. It's a whole new community that I've been introduced to, and very lucky to know these people. It really helped push me forward through rehab. It's just having that support and friendship and new friends, and that ability to socialize with people that are in the same community that I am just starting out in.
So I think support around you is really, really important, but the right kind of support. I had few friends that always used the right words, and they would call me every day, text me, send me quotes every day, but the right kind, not the feel sorry for kind, the very strong, very positive kind. I would talk to everybody in the rehab, say hi to everybody, and Kevin would as well. And then I think Limb Loss Connection is really special because it's a new organization created by people in the now time, and we're of different ages, right? We're all different ages, but we just happen to meet around the same time. And there are other people that we've met through Limb Loss Connection that have been amputees for many more years, or even newer amputees.
People got to understand what limb loss is about, and this is why we started this organization, because we're not different, and we're not impossible, we're possible, right? So what we have right now is a great connection of people. We're a team, and we're working on this to grow, and we're being recognized through the big Amputee Coalition of Canada.
This community is different. It's very caring. There's so much caring in it. It's like, yeah, like I said, it's a club you never wanted to join, but now you're there, and it's like everybody's brother and sister in a way, yeah.
We started Limb Loss, a group of us, because of a gap that was recognized in rehab. And while we were in rehab, we all got together and we thought, why don't we start Limb Loss Connection? And again, connection is the key word here. We all know that in this community we've lost a limb, but we should connect with each other. We should connect and stay connected. You know, it's kind of our mission to get everybody in the world to kind of connect with each other. We are not a support group. Some people say that we're just a support group. Well, we probably started out that way, and people realized that, hey, there's a support group, but this thing is snowballed. It's growing all the time. As more members join us, we have over 300 members now that have joined us, all across Canada and all across North America. We hold not just virtual support calls every 2 weeks, you know, that anybody can join, but we're now going into hospitals and talking to hospital patients, peer one-on-one support within the hospitals. We bring specific questions, we bring doctors to those, we bring wound nurses to them, we bring, the next one that we're holding is yoga for amputees. So we're everything's spiking off of limb loss, and we're offering all these different other services and bringing them in, as well as the other support groups. And so it's much broader than that. Okay, join limb loss. That's the obvious one.
There's always hope, there's always hope, and don't look on the dark side of things. There's always bright light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, life can be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. As long as you're a lot of fun too, right? Yeah. Yeah. And just be bold as yeah. Yeah.
So if you're coming in as a new amputee, you're gonna have specific fears. I would like to tell them that things are gonna work out. Things are gonna be okay. But they're not always ready for that in the beginning. They're still in shock and whatnot, but I'd love to be able to somehow break through that easier for them and give them a little bit of calmness in their life. I want them to know that there's other people out there that have gone through what they've gone through, and I want them to know that we're here to support them.
This is Yaz again, and I am part of Limb Loss Connection, and I'm so thankful to be here today with all of the support that I've had throughout my journey. And if you are someone who knows someone who's lost a limb or two or three or four, you know, this Limb Loss Connection can even help you to try to understand them. But life does go on. Sometimes it seems really, really dark, and the unknown is very scary. But there are a lot of us who have moved forward. We have our ups and downs, but you can do it.
Believe in yourself. That's what you have to be. Like I said, I wake up in the morning. I don't say I love myself first before I say I love my children or my wife or the cat, right? I say I love myself first because that's the first block you got to get over with, and then you start your day. And if you have a smile, and a smile will help other people. But if you have a frown, people say there's a problem, I don't want to talk to that person or whatever. And this is what we're trying to do with Limb Loss Connection. We're just trying to put a smile on your face and say that there are answers, and let's work together, let's figure it out. If we can't figure it out today, we'll figure it out tomorrow.
You got to pick yourself up, and one of the best ways is humor. Humor. Find the humor in it, and it'll take you a long way. And it's really good for mental health, right? So when you combine your humor with music or whatever your passion is, that's what's going to help you turn a negative into a positive.
Wind now somehow it knows that it's not attached here, and so many times in the wind I've fallen forward and I've grabbed onto somebody, and there was a policeman in front of me, and I grabbed onto the policeman and I grabbed his butt, and he just turned around and said, "I'm married." And I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, that happened to me twice. That happened to me twice. Yeah, yeah.
Moving on to C9, which is home life, what is the thing that still frustrates you? It's still frustrating to you.
Oh, my wife, no. Okay.